Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Turf Talk. I'm James Scully, joined by Vance Hanson, and we're here to talk about Arrogate and the Pacific Classic. Vance, there's different ways to look at it. I think the one general assessment is that Arrogate is not running at the same level he has been. Whether he gets back to that or not in the upcoming Breeders' Cup Classic is like the point of argument or debate.
Yeah, on the positive side, the Pacific Classic, which was a much better effort than the San Diego handicap, obviously, but on the negative side, at really no point, except for very few brief seconds in the final 16th or final furlong for me, did I think he had any chance at all to win this particular race, and which was disappointing. Yes, like you said, he's running well below his very best that we saw late last year, early this year in places like Gulfstream and Dubai, and the fact of the matter is he's got some really tough competition coming up for the Breeders' Cup Classic. Not only do you have Gunrunner, but Collected has really come on this year. Frankly, Arrogate really has to run to his very best performance in the Breeders' Cup to eventually win this thing.
Yeah, I got, like you said, I got excited in the stretch, was really cheering him on. And while he didn't quite get there, got beat a half length, it took a huge race by Collected to beat him, I thought. And like you said, it was an improvement upon the San Diego, and he had to do that in order to stay in training. If he had run poorly again, he would have been retired. He did lose, so he's risking 3 straight losses in the Breeders' Cup Classic. But I thought what Baffert said afterward was interesting. He basically said, hey, he's clearly not the same horse he was, post-Dubai, but he thinks he can get him back to the same level, and he's looking forward to like the 11 weeks off in between the Pacific Classic and the Breeders' Cup Classic to build him back up. Now, whether he can get there or not, I don't know. I definitely think it's possible. But he was going to be 1 to 5 or so if he had won the San Diego and the Pacific Classic, and now he's looking like a slight favorite in my eyes.
Yeah, you're looking at possibly 2 to 1, or maybe even higher. Who knows? Depends on what the other horses do in the interim.
Right.
Bob Baffert has basically blamed himself for the last 2 losses at Del Mar. He says he should have trained the horse up to the Pacific Classic rather than prepped him in the San Diego. For me, it's kind of hard to figure out what's gone wrong with this horse. Some people like to say he's not handling the Del Mar surface that well. He won over it last year just fine, so it's just hard for me to pinpoint, what the problem is and why he's running below his very best. And maybe he just laid it out all on the line, those 4 races between the Travers and the Dubai World Cup, and maybe we might not see that ever again. Who knows?
Yeah, and that's a fair point about handling the track. That is a point of contention that you'll see. Some people just don't think he doesn't like Del Mar. He can't offer the same stride over the track. Baffert dismisses that notion. Like you said, he thinks that the San Diego really knocked the steam out of him, and he thinks he can get it back. But it remains to be determined. There'll be a lot of discussions going forward, and we've got almost 3 months left to it, so it'll be exciting. And thanks for joining us for Turf Talk. Vance and I will be back tomorrow to talk about the Travers on Point.